Welcome back to this Final Fantasy XIV Let's Play. You're with Sambo. We're in a Realm Reborn. It is very exciting to be here. Welcome back to our Final Fantasy XIV Let's Play series. I'm lucky enough not only to be joined here by the new version of Final Fantasy XIV. In fact, you can see right there, it is the beta version. I'm also joined by some familiar names. Joining us in the Mumble chat, it would be none other than Katella Avonlea. Good day to you.
Hello, Sambo.
Oh, it's so good to be back here. Tell me, how excited are you to be able to be staring at a Realm Reborn Final Fantasy XIV online loading screen?
Oh, very excited.
It has been a long journey since the end of our version 1 Let's Play series. And just to remind us again, Katella, how long ago exactly was that? I mean, we're in August now. We're playing in what is beta 4, I believe, of a Realm Reborn. How long has it been since we actually closed off with that wonderfully poetic episode where all of our Distant World community members were saying goodbye in version 1? When was that?
Roughly 9 months ago.
9 months ago? Hang on a minute, 9 months ago. That means that I've had time to give birth. That's how long it's taken, right? Okay, so Jenna, a fan favourite, returning, I think, in this series. Are you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, Sambo.
I'm very... How excited are you to be playing in a Realm Reborn?
Very!
Yeah, woohoo! You know what? We're also joined by another familiar name who I know has been dying to get back into the game, and that would be none other than Merrick. G'day, sir.
Hello.
Oh, now, come on. How excited are you to be playing in Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn?
I installed it on my laptop and I'm playing at work hoping that I don't get caught. Oh. How's that?
Okay, that is dedication, folks. By the way, welcome to you guys watching along from home. I know, judging by all of the comments, we've had so many people requesting, oh gosh, Sambo, are you guys going to be actually covering off A Realm Reborn, or did you leave Final Fantasy XIV behind in version 1? Katella, could you imagine us not being back in Final Fantasy XIV? Seriously.
I couldn't imagine that.
No, exactly. And especially with all of the work that's been going on behind the scenes in the meantime. We'll talk to you about that very, very shortly. You know what? We got some more familiar faces and voices here in the Mumble chat. I can spot a Tiger Hawk Rosebud. Hi, Tiger.
Hello.
Good to see you. Now, hang on a minute. I don't think you played with us in version 1, did you?
I did a little bit towards the end.
A little bit towards the end, that's right. So hang on. Are you going to be playing with us in this, A Realm Reborn Part 2, if you like, of our Final Fantasy XIV journey?
Yes, if I can ever get it downloaded.
Oh, okay. Now that's a good point, actually, because of course people are saying, how do we download the client? And Katella will tell us all about that very, very shortly. But it's a little bit large, but Tiger Hawk Rosebud, don't worry, before long you'll be joining us here in Eorzea. Can't wait to see you there. Do you know what? Another person I can't wait to see, well, at knee height anyway, and that would be another fan favourite, classic character from our Final Fantasy XIV version 1 series, none other than the gentleman himself, Sayo Mayo. Good evening for you, I think it is, sir.
Good evening, Sambo.
Oh, it's great to hear your voice. Do you know what? I think we're missing somebody, though, and it's possibly because of the time that we're recording this particular episode. And that would be our other little sidekick there, Pico. Sayo, what have you done with Pico? Where is he?
I think we locked him in a walk-in closet somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. You know what? I think we forced him to have a bit of a rest. He's been working so very hard in this build-up to the release of Final Fantasy XIV. A big shout-out to you, sir. We can't wait to have you back on the show. You know, someone who I really am glad that is joining us in this particular show. Someone that's joined us in our other Let's Play series, but wasn't with us in version 1 of Final Fantasy XIV. None other than that crazy Canadian Rusty. A big hello to you.
Hello.
Now, hang on a minute. Let me think. You didn't play Final Fantasy XIV version 1. Did you ever play Final Fantasy XI?
Nope. I only played the launch of this one.
Okay, so...
And then I quit with all of them.
Well, did you ever play any of the, like Final Fantasy 7 or 10 or 12 or anything like that?
Yeah, I played 7, 8, and 9, and that was it.
Okay, all right. Of course, the MMO version is just a little bit different than those RPGs, but of course, it's great that the Final Fantasy threads are woven through every single one of their games, and it's great to see them here as well. Look, folks, we've got a lot of questions that you guys have presented to us, and we very much hope to be able to answer most of them in this episode, which is being given to you today, launch day for Final Fantasy XIV. So, by the way, if you're watching this episode and you're eligible to be playing Final Fantasy XIV, what are you doing? You need to get there and and crank up that client and make sure that you're downloading the game if you're not already in. So I've got a question for Katella, and of course we know, Katella, you're the expert on all of these sort of things. If I was watching the show right now and thinking to myself, oh, hang on, I wanted to be playing Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn, what are my options for that? Whether I've played it in the past or whether I'm somebody who's wanting to get into it right now, what are my options for actually getting to this point here where I'm staring at a screen that says Start Final Fantasy XIV?
Well, if you had the game in 1.0, you actually really luck out because they're going to give you a free download of the new beta client. Or not beta client, the launch client, the real client.
So hang on.
They're going to give you a
So you
new
don't have to buy it?
You don't have to buy it.
Hang on, wait a minute. I'm going to stop you right there. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go to Merrick. I don't believe Katella, Merrick. Is she saying that if I played and purchased Final Fantasy XIV version 1, then this, A Realm Reborn, is given to me free of charge?
Yep.
All right, Katella, I take it all back. Explain.
Okay, so basically if you had the game in 1.0, you get a free downloadable version of the PC version, mind you, not the PlayStation version,
Right.
but the PC version. And there's actually going to be a welcome back campaign that they're putting on, and those players will be able to play free till September 9th.
Whoa, okay. Before we quiz Katella for more information about that, I can see someone else in the Mumble chat here, and that would be none other than Amadeus Lightheart. G'day, sir.
Hello, Sambo.
Now, the reason I mention your name, and by the way, welcome to Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn, you're going to be playing it on the PS3, if I remember correctly.
No, I've actually changed to PC now.
Oh, really? Why did you change your mind?
I think it was just because PC is just more graphical for me. It's easier for me to see it on the screen, and I noticed because of my eyesight, the PS3, actually the UI was a lot smaller when I actually tried it.
Right. That's a good point, actually. And there's another thing that we need to bring up, which is, hey, are we going to be showing PS3 footage at all? I don't know the answer to that. We have the technology to be able to set that up, and I will indeed be getting the PS3 version of the client because I want to be able to sit down on the couch and play it on my nice big screen TV. I wonder if Clax is going to be the same. Bad Clax, who we know from our World of Warcraft episodes, of course, also joins us here in Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn. A very good day to you, sir.
Hello, Sambo.
Now, are you PS3 or are you PC for A Realm Reborn?
I actually got both versions.
You got both versions, and I think you're not the only person that's going to be in that boat. So this is another question that I've asked Katella before. I'm going to test your knowledge here. If you create a character, Clax, and you create it, let's say, in the PC version, and you get it to, I don't know, level 5 or something, what happens to that character when you log in on your PS3 version?
Well, nothing, like I still play the same character.
There you go. And Katella, I think we've spoken about this in the past in some other Let's Play episodes, but just to clarify again, is Clax speaking the truth?
He is speaking the truth. As long as you attach your PS3 version to your existing service account that has that character in it, you'll be able to play that character from either the computer or the PS3.
That is great news. And of course, what you mentioned there, attaching it in the service account, that means you have to go into that convoluted online account system. Is that right?
When you log into your PS3, it should actually ask you if you have an existing account or if you want to create a new account. And so it's easy right then. You just tell it, I want to add this to my existing account, and then you log in with your username and password, and it should get you where you need to be.
There you go. Nice and easy. We like that. You know what? Someone else I can see in the chat room here is a long-time supporter of our channel, right back to the early days of DC Universe Online. And somebody I know has been very much looking forward to playing A Realm Reborn, who misses Final Fantasy XIV a great deal. That would be none other than Zen Wing. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good to see you, Zen. Now, come on, be honest with me. How excited are you to be able to finally play A Realm Reborn in Final Fantasy XIV?
Well, I'm way excited more than everybody else is, I think. I've had a few goosebumps today.
Oh, I bet you have.
Probably a few teary moments, but don't want to say. I'm just excited.
I'm glad that you're excited, and I'm glad you had some teary moments because, you know what, I've been rewatching our shows from the end of our first series, and you know what, we're talking about episode 73, which was our goodbye to a Final Fantasy version 1, and that to me is a very emotional time. And if you haven't seen that already, there's a link down in the description below. I highly recommend that you go and watch that, because also Katella, that is telling the end of the first chapter of Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, this is leading on. This is the next chapter, if you like. If folk aren't familiar with the story of Final Fantasy XIV, is watching the end of our last show a good idea?
Yeah, it should tell you.
The big cutscene there, of course, which tells the story, and that's going to no doubt be picked up here when we actually start a character, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Just one little word, folks. You might notice here where I'm hovering my mouse, it says B version. That means we're in the beta version. Just to clarify, Catella, I know there's been very strict NDAs about recording and publishing footage from Final Fantasy A Realm Reborn. What's going on? Why are we able to film this in the beta version?
We're able to film this because this is beta 4, and they've recently announced that we can record beta 4 as long as we don't publish until launch day.
Rightio. So there you go, folks. That's why today on launch day you're able to see this, and how come we've pre-recorded it is because we were allowed to prior to that launch day, as long as we didn't actually post it up. Look, nobody is more excited than me to be able to stare at this particular screen, and of course you guys also know that I've been holding back. I've been trying to abstain from all things Final Fantasy XIV because I want to be genuinely surprised here on our shows for the first time as we see this new content. And I've got to say, already I am impressed because, Merrick, I don't know about you, but I went into the configuration menu here. In fact, I'm going to do that right now for you guys watching along from home so we can talk through these options. Merrick, this is a world apart from the configuration screen of version 1, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's definitely much better.
Yeah, and I think you could say the same for the actual game interface itself. And of course, once we show you guys our very first episode in game, you'll be able to see that for yourselves. I'd just like to say that this is considered episode 0, if you like, in our new Let's Play series for Final Fantasy XIV Online. This is just going to be a episode covering off the configuration screen here, bringing you up to speed with what we've been doing, where we're going, and showing you guys, importantly, the new character creation screen, because we know we've had a lot of requests. You guys saying, hey Sambo, you're going to show us what it looks like to make a new character now? You better believe it. We're going to show you that today, very, very shortly. We will be kicking off the actual show, though, in episode 1, which will come up next week, and you'll see the very first episode of that along with the rest of Distant World then. In the meantime, system configurations. You know what, Rusty, I don't know about you, but sometimes these screens can be very, very confusing because there are options in here that I have no idea what they mean. In your opinion, how well has Square Enix done in terms of describing these options that we're about to go through?
I think, to put it bluntly, it's below standard
Below
UI
standard.
configuration, really below.
And what's your main reason? Is it because these things are confusing, or are they not well explained, or they don't do anything, they're bugged?
I would say first because they don't have pop-up tooltips to explain what each option is. They're just there.
Right.
And left for you to try and search and figure out what they mean. And
Sure.
2, they're very limited. They don't have as many options as they should compared to a lot of newer MMOs I've seen come up.
Sure, and look, you make a good point there. Compared to MMOs that have been on the market for a very long time, they've evolved their settings to become very user-friendly. Having said that, though, Catella, if we cast our mind back to Final Fantasy XIV version 1, do you remember the options configuration screen in that?
Yeah, it wasn't even in the game.
Yeah, that's right. You couldn't actually get to it from here, could you? You had to be in a separate executable, I think. Is that right? From memory.
Yeah, you had to start up a whole different program first and go in there and do all the configurations you wanted to do before you even started the game.
Yep, so, as much as you're correct, Rust, and I do agree with you, hopefully this will evolve to be even better than it is, but compared to what we were having to put up with in the first version of this game, this is like heaven. And of course, you guys will know that the UI here, you can see, is much, much, much more intuitively laid out than it ever was before. But I'd like to quickly go through a couple of these options here so you guys at home know what to expect when you crank it up. As always, of course, we do have the option here, and I love this one, especially being a YouTuber or a live streamer. You've got the option of the screen mode being borderless windowed. Now, Jenna, you do a lot of live streaming. This would be something of particular interest to you as well. Have you ever come across a game where you can't have a borderless windowed option? And isn't it annoying?
Yes.
Yes.
It's very annoying.
I can hear the pain in your voice. So, look, Square Enix, a big tick. Merrick, I know you do a bit of streaming as well. You surely have come across this option not being here before.
Yeah, but typically when I do my streaming, I do full screen anyways.
Right, okay, there you go. And of course, if you've got the hardware to support it, that is good. But Square Enix, thank you very much for putting in the 3 options here. And guys, if you're wondering what that means, it means you can run it in a window like I am right now, which will sit in your desktop with a border around it, or you can run it in full screen and have it take over your computer, or you can basically run it in a window without the border full screen. A lot of people like to do that so you can quickly Alt-Tab between the games and applications on your computer. So thank you very much. You can see you've got a whole bunch of presets here for your resolution as well, but the other thing I do notice is that you can actually type in a custom amount, and not a lot of actual games have that. So I could have a width of 1601 pixels by 927 if I so wish. And that is also very, very unusual and very welcome for folk that have odd screen sizes. So that's exactly what that is. You can see if we scroll down the bottom here, also we've got a frame limiter. That is also very welcome to someone like me who likes to limit their footage to 60 frames per second for recording fraps. So thank you, Square Enix, for that. Now, of course, we've got the sound settings down here. Sayo Mayo, are you familiar with some of these options? Have you been through all of these?
Some of them.
Okay, so I can see here there's an option to say play music when mounted. Mounted what? What on earth does that mean?
Okay, so basically when you mount in this game, there are going to be several tracks, like several variations of the classic Final Fantasy Chocobo theme, one for the Gubu, and probably some for the Curl and Arimon and the Unicorn that we haven't seen yet.
Right.
Or heard yet.
So if I've got that disabled, does that mean it won't play those tracks?
It won't play those tracks, but it will keep to whatever background music may or may not be present at the time of mounting the mount.
That's a nice option to have. And by the way, folks, you can see here we've got a master volume. I appreciate that as well. A lot of games don't have a master volume slider, so thank you very much for putting that in, Square Enix. Although, Merrick, I know we were talking off camera earlier, and some of the guys and gals were saying that when you enter combat in Final Fantasy XIV, there is some music that plays, and I think, Merrick, the options for that music are just a little bit limited. Is that right?
Yeah, let me open up my options real quick, but I don't believe that there's a way to turn off a lot of that stuff.
Right, so I can see here we've got background music as a slider, and we've got sound effects, voice, system sounds, and ambient sounds. Perhaps, Katella, you might be able to shed some light on this. When you enter combat in Final Fantasy XIV, is there a separate music track that plays?
Yeah, there is. And it's under the background music.
Oh, so that's roped in with... Okay, so are we saying it would be nice, Square Enix, if you had a separate volume slider or toggle for that particular music?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Essie, if you're listening, there's a couple of our little demands right off the bat. But of course, we are being very nitpicky here. We do love all of these new options that we've got and the ease of accessibility compared to version 1 of the client. Let's carry on going down the list here. Graphic settings. Now, I know a lot of people get very confused about these graphic settings. Tigerhawk Rosebud, I've seen your computer. You've got a laptop there I think you're playing the game on. So for you would be used to having to go into these settings and adjusting them quite heavily, I would imagine, yeah?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yep, so games like WoW, etc., Rift, you would probably have to adjust a few things down to make sure you've got a nice frame rate going on?
Yeah, unfortunately, have to lower a lot of the settings.
Right, and look, you're not the only one who will be playing either on a laptop or a machine that doesn't have the latest and greatest hardware, and that's perfectly normal. But one of the great things I noticed here, folks, if you're in this graphics settings page, if you click on where my little mouse is showing here, which is currently saying custom, if you drop this down, look at this, and you're going to love this, Tigerhawk. It's actually got presets for laptops and desktops, and in fact, there's a standard laptop preset and there's a high laptop preset. So presumably you would just be able to click on standard laptop and hopefully it will make all of the settings perfect for someone like you. Whereas, I don't know, let's speak with, who can we talk to? Maybe Clax. Have you got a fairly high-end desktop PC?
Yes, I do.
Yep.
The only thing that I have bad is the video card, which is kind of old.
Right, sure. But I mean, for someone like yourself, you would probably be able to click on maybe high desktop or something like that, and it will automatically set up all of your settings to be appropriate for your hardware. So once again, Square Enix, thank you for giving us those quick options. Although I do notice you can come in here and actually adjust all of these individually, which is what I've done, and I've ended up with this custom graphic setting here, which is great. Now, if you're wanting to know what all of these individual pieces do, what is map resolution, what are real-time reflections, Katella, what do you do with all of these options when you don't understand, or do you understand all of them?
I don't understand them.
So what do you recommend that somebody does? I mean, we've got lots and lots of things that we can change stuff on. Do we just use common sense and a bit of trial and error, or is that going to break the game?
Oh, it won't break it. I just tend to just use trial and error and see what works for my computer.
Right, and some of them are pretty obvious. Use your noggin a bit, and of course if your frame rate is a little bit slow in the game, or a little bit low, then you might want to come in and turn something like this down to simple or off. You can do the same with shadows, I think. Let me see, Sao Mayo. I think in most games, shadows are a big killer of frame rates, right?
Yeah.
So in here I can see we've got a whole section devoted to shadow quality. I mean, again, using common sense, if I've got shadow cascading and I've got best, normal or off, if I was having low frame rate issues, would I come in here and try and maybe switch it off and see what happened?
Yeah, generally shadows are some of the biggest taxes of a GPU.
Right, okay, there you go. And same for this, shadow resolution. Who knows what it really means, but you can see if in the options you go in there, you've got high, normal, and low. If you're having issues, I suggest you start with low. Turn everything down to low, and then you can start winding things back up. And let me see, Catella, normally in the old version of the game, it would be very painful to go through that process because you'd have to quit the game, load up the configurator, make your adjustment, go back to the game, load it up, log in, see that it made little to no difference, quit the game again, log out, go back to, the horrible vicious cycle. Now, what happens? Can we actually get to all this stuff when we're live in the game?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do? Hit escape or something?
Yeah, I think it's escape, and I think it's just one of the options that are in there. There's a whole bunch of options in there now when you hit escape.
There you go, folks. So it's going to be a lot faster and a lot easier for you to make these adjustments on the fly. Having said that, if you've got any questions about these options, please put them down in the comment section below and we'll do our best to answer them for you. Going through here, you can see we've got mouse settings as well. Again, pretty obvious. That's how sensitive your mouse is. And then you've got, this is an interesting one, a gamepad setting screen. Now, who can put their hand up in the mumbles, who is running this game on a PC but using a gamepad?
I am.
Me too.
Oh, so Amadeus and Sao Mayo. So firstly, Amadeus, just a score out of 10. If you've got your gamepad plugged in, how well is it implemented into the game?
I'd say extremely well. The movement's extremely smooth. I'm actually tempted to give it a 9.8 out of 10.
Ooh, there you go, some high praise. What about you, Sao?
I'm going to give it a 15.
A 15 out of 10, so I'm guessing that you like it then. Now, I've actually played version 1 with my PS3 controller, and I must admit, it was almost like the game was built for it. It is very, very nice. But you can see here, folks, there is support built right into the game, and I don't have my device loaded at the moment, so you can see that it's saying that the device is not located, but if it was, it would pick up on that driver, and it would be listed right there. And you can see you can disable or enable the vibration, you can adjust the sensitivity of it, and you can even begin a calibration test right there. So if you don't like a mouse and keyboard, or I assume you can use both at the same time, Amadeus, if you've got your controller and you're on the computer, can you at any time grab the mouse and keyboard and start playing as well?
Anytime you like.
There you go, so you got this choice.
From what I've said. Yep.
All right, beautiful. And finally down here at the bottom you can see we've got our screenshot and language options, and I can adjust the language to the client that I'm running. It automatically should be English, but you can see there's also Japanese, German and French that are automatically built in there, and you can also define whether you want your screenshots to be in PNG or JPEG quality. That's if you want some really, really nice high-res ones, you'd set it to PNG. Now, Tigerhawk Rosebud, we know that you are a serial dancer and a serial photographer. I'm imagining that your screenshots folder for Final Fantasy XIV is going to be overblown very quickly, yeah?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Probably in one day.
Probably in one day. Will you give us your word that you will upload some, as always, to the Distant World website in your gallery there?
Oh, yeah. No worries about that.
Good, we're really looking forward to that. Now, Zenwing, someone else I know who is really appreciative of the views and especially the fashion in games. I know you, because you love to outfit your characters in all sorts of crazy shenanigan get-ups. How have you found the character customization and the clothing, the whole look of it in Final Fantasy A Realm Reborn so far? Are you happy with it, or do you prefer the version 1 stuff?
I like this one better because they're more brighter.
Right.
And everything, you got different colors, you get to dye the clothes, and It's a whole lot better. I love it.
Oh boy, you know what, you're tempting us there. This is stuff we're going to have to wait until we get into our episodes proper, cover off all of that, but I'm sure Katella will be covering dying in one of our episodes, I hope. Alright, can't wait for that. Well, there you go, folks. There's the system configuration screen. Just a reminder, you can get to it at any time by hitting escape in the game. I'm going to close that off, and of course you can see I'll be making changes. Do you want to discard all the changes without saving? Yes, I do, because I was happy with the way I already had it set up. Alright, so Katella, I'm staring at this starting screen here, and of course this is what you get as soon as you log into the game. I've got a few options here. I've got start, I've got opening movie, configuration, and exit. We've been through the configuration. Hopefully exit will exit us from the game. What is this opening movie here?
It'll let you watch the opening movie.
The cinematic. Okay, so I can watch that at any particular one time. Now, if you guys are wanting to see that, you'll have to wait till episode 1, because I'm imagining, Katella, is that actually coming right off the back of the closing movie from version 1?
Yes.
All right. Now, Merrick, have you seen this opening movie?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Several times.
Several times. Is it of the same caliber that we've come to expect from Square Enix Final Fantasy property?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, all right, good. Well, folks, you're going to have to wait. We'll show that in the next episode, but that's what that option there is for. And if you're wondering why my screen keeps going black, it keeps trying to play a movie there as well. It's like a tract from the old days of arcade games back in the arcades. It's classic. Anyway, I've got a great big start button here, Katella. If I was to push that, will the world come to an end?
If you were to push that, we could actually go make a character.
Okay, so you mean we're going to actually come in on our promise to create a character with the new character creator system here in Final Fantasy A Realm Reborn right here and right now?
Right now, yeah.
Okay, let's do that, guys. Here we go. Hitting the start button, and you can see, ooh, I've got swirly mists. I've got a character selection coming up. I've got and look at this. It's one of my characters. Oh, my lord. Look at that. And, it looks a lot different from version 1. Now, very, very first thing I want to cover off is I've got a funny little thing down in the bottom right of my screen here. It says Final Fantasy XIV Legacy. What does that mean? Does it mean I'm a legend in my own lunchbox? I don't understand that.
It means that you have a legacy account.
Okay, so Merrick, I'm going to put you on the spot now. What is a legacy account? Does it mean that I have legs? Well, I don't understand.
I hope you have legs. There was a promotion that was running for, I don't know, about 4 or 5 months, I believe. It started in the beginning of the year, 2012, that if you accrued 90 days of paid time, you would become a legacy member, basically.
Okay, and Katella, thank you, Merrick. Katella, does that offer us any particular perks?
It does. The first thing is that for life, you get a slight discount on your subscription fee.
Oh, I like that one. Okay, go on.
You get a chocobo, a special chocobo, a legacy chocobo that is slightly different art style than the regular chocobo.
I can't wait to see that one, yes.
And you got the option to sign up a while back. It's already passed, but you were able to sign up to get your name in the credits for the game itself.
There you go. So, all right, now, if you're not a legacy owner, in fact, hang on, let me think. Rust, for example, you never played, you played towards the end there. I assume when you log in, you do not have this legacy badge. Is that right?
No, because I played at the very beginning and then I quit.
Right, okay. And Tigerhawk Rosebud, same for you, or have you got a legacy?
I am a legacy.
There you go, great stuff. So we can show off our fancy chocobos together. I can't wait for that. All right, but thank you for that explanation. So if you're wondering why you don't have one, if you're watching along from home, it's just because of that, because you didn't play for 90 concurrent days back in version 1. But I'd imagine that it's not going to be too bad. Jenna Blossom, if you don't have legacy, does that mean you might as well give up and uninstall the game now? No, not at all. They're just little pieces of fluff, right? Pretty much?
Pretty much.
There you go. So you're not going to be disadvantaged in any way, shape, or form. All right, so here we are. We're staring at one of my characters. Now, this does look a lot like Seraphis Thrallwyn from my original Final Fantasy XIV character lineup, version 1, but this is not. And in fact, I'm very confused here because I don't know what I'm staring at, because I know that my character is not named Amana Thrallwyn, but this is her sister from another server. I can see that she's level 9, so she's definitely not Seraphis. What what's going on here? Kitella, have I lost my character somehow?
No, if you look up at the top right-hand corner, it says world, and then probably right under that, it probably does not say Masamune there.
It doesn't. It says Durandal. So hang on.
Yeah.
So is Durandal my world, is it?
Durandal's the world that particular character is on.
Oh, so if I'm freaking out thinking, where's Seraphis? She's just on another world. By the way, it says here connection excellent. Is that checking the status of my connection to the actual servers themselves?
That's right.
Okay, well, it's good to know that even with my rubbish connection, that Square Enix define it as excellent, most excellent. All right, so let me think here. Clax, I know that most of us wanted to be rolling on Masamune. How on earth would I change my character selection screen here if I was wanting to create a character or indeed drag up any from the past? How would I change it so that it shows Masamune and not Durandal?
Oh, just click on the world button on the top.
Oh, there it is too. I didn't realize that was an actual button. All right, so here we go. Clicking on world. Whoa. Okay, there are a ton of worlds here, and as I mouse up and down these lists, if I've got a character on any of these servers, it actually pops up. So I can see down here we've got Masamune. There it is. You're absolutely right, Kitella, and it says Seraphis Thrallwyn, and she is a Marauder level 32, so she still exists. She's still there. There we go. But I don't understand. Some of these say Legacy, and some of them do not. So Kitella, for a start, I've got a group JP and I've got a group NA EU. If I was a new player and I had no characters, is it really going to make a difference as to which list I choose a server from, or does it not matter? How does this work?
It's not going to make a huge difference. What it is that refers to the data center that server is housed under. So if it's under group NAEU, it means that those servers are all housed in a data center that's maybe closer to North America and European players.
And so similarly, the JP one means that those servers live in Japan?
Japan, so they'll be good for like Oceanic, but to be honest, like I've this whole time, like before we had the option of data centers, we were playing on Japanese servers and we were doing perfectly fine.
Exactly.
And
so a lot of
have
people
not had a problem.
Well, a lot of people seem to place a lot of weight on the ping, and of course if you're playing Modern Warfare 3 or Quake or something like that, then your ping is going to make a massive difference. But for a game like this, I think Sayomeo, it really doesn't matter technically if you're, if you've got a 500 ping or even a 900 ping. For an MMO, is it really going to make a world of difference?
Maybe for some clutch things, but it shouldn't really make too much of a difference.
Right. Look, I'm here at the bottom end of the world, all the way over in Australia, and we've been playing on Japan. I actually choose to sometimes play on EU servers. For MMOs, I've never ever had a lag issue. So, guys, just roll where your heart takes you. But more importantly, if you know where you want to go and you know that you've got a group of players that you want to play with, then make sure you figure that out before you create a character. So, for example, Kitella, in our case, we have a very special server, don't we, that we'd like to call our own home. Is that a Japanese or an NAEU one?
That is in the Japanese data center.
Right, so is it Masamune, like you were telling us before?
That's correct.
Okay, so if I actually click on Masamune Legacy, there we go. It's instantly changed. You can see up the top there, my world is Masamune, and I am staring at my old character from version 1. Now, I didn't have to do anything. Jenna, my character, I'm looking at her, it is Seraphis. She looks a little bit different than she did back in version 1, but it's her. It's level 32, and we've got all of the name day, the clan, the race, everything is all the same. Did I have to do anything to be able to have this come up, or is it automatic? So if I had a character back in version 1, she's automatically going to appear here. Is that right, Jenna?
It's automatic, yes.
Okay, so are all your characters present and accounted for?
Yep.
Okay. Now, I'm noticing down the bottom here, it says that I have, one opportunity. I'm getting a bit nervous here. One opportunity to edit my character's race, tribe, gender, appearance, and name. Kitella, what does that mean?
So, with a Realm Reborn, they actually added a few new race and gender options. So, before in 1.0, we couldn't make a Highlander female here, we couldn't make a Rogadan female, and we couldn't make a male Miqo'te, and now we can.
Whoa. they're significant changes. Okay, so if I was wanting to change my existing character, are you saying I could do that?
You could do that, but it's a one-time. The 1.0 players with existing characters have a one-time chance, and if you mess it up, that's the only chance you get. So you go in, and you would go in and make whatever little tweaks that you want, and then before you logged in the first time.
Okay, all right. So in the case of Seraphis here, I don't want to do that just yet, do we? Because we want to save that until we're ready to film episode number 1. Okay, so today instead, I would like to go through the character creation so we can see all of these new options that you're talking about. If I want to do that and completely leave Seraphis alone, how on earth do I start a new character?
So up on the top right-hand side, right beside where it says world, it says new character.
Oh, okay. And I can safely click this and it's not going to do anything to Seraphis.
That's right. Just click new character and you're going to get another window that pops up.
All right, if that's the case, I'm going to click on the new character creation button there, and there we go, confirmation indeed. Just as Katella said, create a new character, okie dokie, and there we are, folks. You are staring at the brand new Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn version 2 character creation screen. Katella, this is very, very exciting for me. Are you able to tell us what all this stuff down the bottom is all about before we go into the actual character classes themselves and the races? What's all this pose, attire, and environment stuff down the bottom?
All right, well, why don't you click on unique there?
Unique. Okay, so pose, standing, view your character performing various actions such as he's looking out over the horizon. Oh, this is really cool. So it means that I can actually see what he looks like doing emotes in the game. Is that what that's for?
That's right.
Oh, and he's cycling through a whole bunch of them. All right, that is very, very cool. Okay, so Merrick, what is attire all about? I've got race, job, which is unavailable, and small clothes. What's going on there?
Well, small clothes you probably don't want to do because that'll just put you in your little skivvies there. Otherwise, if job was available, it would show you in the job that of the class that you choose, and the normal clothes are just the actual starting clothes.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I definitely want to click on small clothes now because you basically told us not to. Jenna Blossom, am I going to want to close my eyes when I click on this small clothes button, or is it something you do a lot?
Well, I like to breathe, so I tend to reveal myself a lot.
Yeah, do you know what? I've got hideous memories of Butcher coming back to haunt me here. I'm hoping that's not going to be... Okay, here we go. I'm going to click on small clothes, and oh my lord! He's in his little white undies. That is terrible. Do you know what, Katella? They're very skimpy underwear for a man, aren't they? They're very... Do you know what? I think Tallahassee would absolutely love this. What do you reckon, Amadeus?
Yeah. Definitely.
Tallahassee, this is dedicated to you. There you go. A nice 360 right around him. There you go. You are welcome. You know what? I'm going to click on race. There we go. Thank goodness for that. Get rid of that one. Standing and unique. I love this. Okay, so Rusty, I've also got a bunch of buttons down the bottom here called environment. I'm assuming, well, actually, I'll have you tell us. What exactly does that do?
Lighting, all the lighting differences in the game. I like that feature a lot, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, you would love that. Of course, you know, we know you for your work in Second Life, and of course, you're across all of this technical stuff. So this would be great for you because I think sometimes, Rust, like if I create a character in a game, the lighting in the character creator is completely unique. It will never, ever look like that ever again in the game. So, of course, when you're selecting things like skin tone, hair color, clothes color, you name it, it's going to not look the same once you get into the game. Is that a frustration of yours sometimes?
Yes, I hate that in a lot of games. I always wish they had just a few options to check lighting because lighting makes such a huge difference in the way your character looks.
It absolutely does. Well, I'm glad that you like this, and I'm going to click on this. View your character on the sunny Lanosian coastline. Here we go. Click the button, and it's gone black. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. That is absolutely... Oh, okay. I don't need to play the game. I just need to stare at this character creation screen for this long. Now,
you can rotate it.
I can rotate. Oh, look at that. Oh, and I'm seeing what the word... So hang on, Katella, is this indicative of what the game will actually look like if I was to go to Nasia in the game? Like, is this it? Is this the real thing?
It's an area in Limsa Laminsa. Yep.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Oh, I can't wait to get into the game proper. Okay, hang on. Let me click another one here. View your character in the Forest of the Black Shroud. Oh, Merrick, the Black Shroud, would that be Gridania?
that in fact would be Gridania.
See, I'm good. I remember. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. Well, do you know what? Gridania looks a lot lighter than I remember it. Is that a fair comment, Merrick?
When it's daytime, it's a little bit lighter, but there's different types of weathers that can make it look, a lot different.
That's a good point, but it's still the detail level in here. I can see all the moss on the trees. I can see the flowers swaying in the breeze, and that rhyme. There we go. It looks incredible. It looks absolutely amazing. Let me go to the next one here. View your character in the arid desert of Thanalan. Now, come on. This is open to everyone in Mumble. 10 internet points to anybody, before I click this, who can tell me why Thanalan was one of my favorite zones in the game. And I'll give you a clue. Whispers. Whispers in the desert. Come on. Here we go.
I know why.
Oh, Katella knows why. Sayo sounds like he knows why. You go on, Sayo. Why?
Because Twilight over Thanalan.
Yes.
Whispers did a cover of that, and it was amazing.
Oh, there you go. You, sir, and Katella, did you guess it correctly as well?
Yeah.
You did. And of course, a big shout out to our friend XX Whispers, who I know is going to be coming and joining us at some point on the show as well. So look forward to that, and a link to her YouTube channel is down in the description below. But there you have it. There is Thanalan, and of course, the big city in the background. Katella, come on, tell us. What is the name of that famous city?
Ul'dah.
Ul'dah, it is indeed. And of course, that's been recreated by you lot in Minecraft, and we've really got to go and say hello to you over there so we can check on the progress of that. But here we go, folks. This is what Thanalan looks like, and oh my lord, I can't wait to get in here proper. Look at that.
Before you change, just so do you see how there's a clock just to the right hand side there?
Hang on, I'm trying to find a clock. I can see there's mechanical stuff off in the background. Oh, you mean on the actual screen? Yes, I can. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. What is that? Adjust. Oh, go on, tell us what that does.
So click that.
Oh, midday or evening. Oh, look at that, folks. And of course, I love when that happens in Thanalan, because the city lights come up there. Look, this guy's stretching and yawning. He must be getting a bit bored. Hang on, so if I go back to the Black Shroud. Oh, Merrick, you were right. Now it looks like the Black Shroud that I remember, because it's nighttime. It looks a lot. Hang on, let's go to Liminza as well. And yep, it's nighttime there. Wow. Now the final one we've got here is a character in a Gridanian residence. Let's click on that and see what happens. And of course, the time of day is not going to affect us in here. But so Katella, this is what it's like if we go inside, for example, our room maybe in Gridania.
Yeah, that's right. Something like, doesn't quite look like an inn room, but it's similar.
Yeah, there we go. And you can see all the beautiful lighting in the background. Now, Merrick, this is something I know that you have some very firm opinions on. I'm looking here, and we've got some lamps in the background. Now, to my eyes, and this is a very personal thing, folks, but I'm really wanting to bring this up because it is an option. To my eyes, Merrick, the glow around the lamps looks a little over the top. Is that something that you've come across?
Occasionally, yeah, the glow does look a little bit over the top.
Right, so is that what we call bloom?
Bloom has a lot to do with that, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna, look, we won't go through it now, folks, but I'm gonna assume, Merrick, that we can go into the graphics settings and actually adjust the amount of bloom or the glow or whatever and turn that down if that's our personal preference?
Well, I actually haven't been able to find where the bloom setting is.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a challenge for any of you guys watching along from home. If you know where to go and change that bloom so you can turn it down just a little bit, that would be good. Rusty, you know what I'm talking about, of course, being an expert in this sort of area. Have you had any issues with the bloom yourself, or do you like it?
I like glowing things, but I don't think there's an option for it. I'm pretty sure I never saw it.
Right, okay, there we go. Another small request to Square Enix. Perhaps we can have some bloom control going on there. But let me go back out to Thanalan and just play with this time of day, and look at that, it's instantaneous. My frame rate is gorgeous. The game looks fantastic. We've got the halo there, the sun flare. I look like a J.J. Abrams movie already. It truly looks spectacular here, as I'm sure you guys watching along from home will agree. Katella, in a few words, I mean, you know, you were a big fan of version 1 and its look. I know I was as well. This looks gorgeous, but it does look very different in terms of the graphical style. Have you got any comments around that, and do you have a preference between version 1 or a Realm Reborn?
There's There's some things about version 1 that I miss. Like, there's more details. Version 1, they did a ton of details, like on your clothes, on your armor, was just slightly more detailed than it is in version 2.
Right.
But in version 1, the landscape was what people termed copy pasta. Like, because there were a lot of areas that you'd walk through, and you would think, wasn't I just here? Right. Because you didn't know. Like, I had troubles figuring out where I was on the map, because I always had to have the map, because it did look the same. That said, like, I didn't think it was horrible. I didn't think it was as horrible as a lot of the people who complained about it, but this is definitely more detailed, and the work that they put into it has me impressed.
Right, there you go. From what I'm looking at here in the character creator, it looks very smooth, runs very smooth, and of course I think that the catalyst for moving to a Realm Reborn, amongst other things, was the high system requirements that the original game had. And I'm sure a lot of you folk watching along from home probably tried to run a Final Fantasy XIV version 1 and came up against all sorts of issues and needing a bit of a supercomputer. Sayo Mayo, am I right in saying that the reason that we're staring at this version of the game is an attempt to allow it to run on slightly lesser machines?
That's one of the reasons.
And why else are we staring at a slightly different looking game than version 1?
Because Square Enix has actually gone on record for saying that Crystal Tools, while great for games like Final Fantasy XIII, let's be real here, it's not so hot for MMOs.
Right.
And there are reasons for that.
Sure. So they've actually taken the initiative to, is this game completely redesigned from the ground up in terms of the engine, or is this reusing something?
I think we're correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but I believe we're on a modified Luminous right now.
Okay, there you go.
That's my understanding.
Thank you. So that's a big change. And of course, that means that it's going to open up that entry-level gate, if you like. So a lot more people will be able to play this game. So if you ever were put off by Final Fantasy XIV in terms of thinking that you needed a NASA spec Merrick-style computer, then allay those fears, because now this should be running on pretty much anything. Look, I'm sure if you've got an old 286 out the back with a green screen, it may not run so well on that. But if you've got any form of modern computer, you should see results similar to mine. If you can even adjust your graphic settings right down, you're still going to get a nice smooth gameplay experience, I hope. Now, Tigerhawk Rosebud, of course, again, knowing that you play this on a laptop, and if you don't mind me saying, it is not an Alienware or gaming specific laptop, is it? It's a pretty normal laptop?
Yeah, it's just a pretty basic laptop.
Right, so you're going to be a great test for us in terms of how it runs on hardware that you have to scale things down to, and how it looks. So again, can't wait to see your screenshots and hear about your play experience. But in the meantime, folks, we are here basking in the sunlight of La Nocia, aka Limsa Laminza in the background there, and it's time for us to run through some of these different characters and their genders. So one of the big changes I think that needs to be mentioned first is, yes, we're staring at a Hyur, or however you would like to pronounce it, and we'll go through all of these races, but you know what, I really want to skip to a Miqo'te, and there we go. We're used to seeing this. This is a female Miqo'te, and of course, if you've been watching my shows, you'll know that Seraphis Thrallwyn has been one of these for a number of years, but there was a restriction. Clax, tell us about that restriction. If you wanted to be a cat person, as I so lovingly put it back in the day, she has a big stretch. And by the way, you've got to be careful with our camera angle there. Good lord, her dress is just a little bit short. Clax, in the day, what if I wanted to create a man as a cat person?
Well, you can only create female characters.
Right, so obviously that has changed now. If I am interested in seeing a male Miqo'te, how do I do that on this character selection screen?
Oh, just select to create a male, just select the male symbol next to the
there it is.
Miqo'te.
There we go, look at that. So there you go, folks. First time I've ever laid eyes on a male Miqo'te character. Katella, you know what? I very much value your opinion in terms of character design. What are your thoughts about this? Did they do a good job with the man cat person?
I think they did. I think it came out better than what I was expecting.
Yeah, I had all sorts of crazy images in my head as well. Jenna Blossom, is this something that you're going to be interested in rolling a character with, a male cat person?
I'll have an alt.
You'll have an alt. You've got an alt for everything you have. What about you, Merrick? You disappointed in how this has turned out, or do you think they've captured the essence of the cat people?
Actually, I have him also ready for male Miqo'te now.
There you go. All right, so obviously you're happy with it then?
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at him in different environments there. Great looking gear, but I love the hairstyle. Of course, presumably we're going to be able to change that as well. Now, Catella, before we go through each and every single one of these, there's been another, I think, addition to the raft of characters that we're able to create here. What is that?
Well, there's actually been 2 more additions, but the first one is the Rogadin female.
Okay, so there we go. There's a rogue. In fact, there is Blind Rage, unless I'm mistaken, pretty much. There's the male version there, yeah, flexing his muscles, doing... hang on, wait a minute. This is not quite Blind Rage. In order for it to be totally Blind Rage, I think we have to go to the small clothes. There we go. There's Blind. Hey, Blind.
Oh.
How are you going? Oh, dear. You know what? I'm going to put his clothes straight back on. So a female version. Oh, I'm not sure that I really want to click on this. Before we do, Catella, what are your thoughts about what they've done with this? Because I honestly can't envisage a female version of this. When you very first clicked on the female version, were you shocked and awed, or did you think, that looks okay?
It's actually also better than what I had thought. You can, saying that though, there are some pretty crazy looking ones that you can get, and then I've actually seen some people come out with some really pretty ones, so...
Okay, well, you know what? Without further ado, I'm going to do just that. There we go. And that is not what I expected, but it's actually quite good. Rusty, I know that you are very, very intuitive when it comes to character design. You're very creative in that field. I know you've drawn me like one of your French girls in terms of my WoW character, and that was terrible, wasn't it? But look, you did such a great job of capturing the spirit of my character in WoW. What are your thoughts about the female Rogadins? Do you think they got it right?
I think it works. I mean, what else would you do next to the Hulk of a male version?
Exactly, and that's why it's so very difficult, surely, as you sit down as a designer in this game and go, okay, we've got this great big, in fact, let's have a look at him again, great big monstrosity of a Hulk, as you put it. How do we turn that into a female? I think I would be challenged to come up with something, and it looks to me like they've done a good job. Amadeus Lightheart, what are your thoughts about the female Rogadin?
I just stick to the tiny people.
Oh, yeah.
They look a lot better than 1.0, you know, the characters in general.
Of course, it's come a long way.
My opinion was I mean, in 1.0 to me, they looked a lot duller. They were lacking in colour and character in themselves. But now they've totally fixed it.
Well, they certainly seem to be brimming with that right now, as you can see from this woman who's doing all sorts of exercises. And I must say, I've got to say that I noticed something when she danced. Something happened with her chest there, and you can't miss that. There are physics, obviously, in this game. Catella, was that in the last game? And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about here.
Not quite that kind of physics.
Right.
There were physics, but not that kind.
Yeah, there you go, folks. So realism indeed, as she was jumping up and down. There we go, and it's happening right on cue. Good lord. Okay, well, it's very realistic, I'd imagine. There we are. Now, Seo Mayo, Catella was talking about yet another change in terms of the available races and genders. What was she talking about?
Oh, let's see. We've done the male Miqo'te. We've done the female Rogadin.
Yep.
The last thing that they've added is the Highlander Hure, but that's actually Highlander is actually a subclass, like the clan, one of the 2 clans that were available for the Hure. There's the Midlanders, which are basically your run-of-the-mill, and Highlanders, which we'll get into later.
Okay, so what we're saying is that Hure have some subclasses beyond that, I guess. So
everybody has subclasses, but for the Highlander Hure, the female was never available before now.
Oh, well, there you go. So you're staring right at her, and she looks gorgeous, just like I do. And I'm sure Tiger would back me up on that one. Anyhow, there you go, folks. So we'll get into that. Let's have a quick recap of these races. So we've got the Hure. They're said to have first travelled to Eorza from their surrounding continents and islands. 3 great migratory waves later, they are now the most populous of all the civilized races. They exhibit a relatively modest physique, both in height and build, and are known for their peculiarly short, rounded ears. Hures are well suited for travelling long distances by foot, a trait thought to account for their swift proliferation. Their espousal of an eclectic variety of languages and traditions is a legacy of their diverse heritage, as is their resulting lack of a unified cultural identity. Catella, do you know what? I think we mentioned this in the very first series of Final Fantasy XIV, but it calls to mind something that Carrie Fisher said, who of course played Princess Leia in the Star Wars trilogy. She said of George Lucas, you know, people can write this stuff, but you try speaking it. And it's always been the same with Final Fantasy XIV text. Catella, have you noticed any difference between either the translation or the construction of words in Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, versus our good old mates from back in the day in version 1?
There's some that's very similar, but they've actually done a lot of work. It's come a long way. I think you'll be surprised.
Okay, I hope so, because sometimes these things are a bit of a mouthful. But there we go, that is the Hyur or Hyur, or however you'd like to pronounce it, race. Of course, something we haven't looked at yet is the Elzen, and you can see we've got the male version of it right there, and there is the female version. Now let's go to Gridania and let's go to nighttime to have a look at those two. So very, very elegant looking. In former times, the Elzen were the sole inhabitants of Eorzea, claiming dominion over it. Traditionally a nomadic people, the tall, slender Elzen believed that the realm was theirs by divine right. And of course, you know what, in a lot of these games, elf type characters seem to think that, especially high elf type. Unfortunately though, this belief made the eventual appearance of the Hyur in their multitudes akin to an invasion, and a long history of conflict ensued. Ultimately, the Elzen, or Elzen is probably more correct, diverged into the two clans that exist today. The Wildwood Elzen took to the forests to protect their homeland, while the Dusk White Elzen withdrew to caves and the Subterranea, opting instead to avoid all contact with any but their own. Sounds like me in the winter time. And let me see, who have we got in the list here? Zen Wing. Zen, if you're still with us, do you have an Elzen character?
No.
You don't? Do you have
No, mine's human.
Yours is human. Okay, and is there a reason for that? Do you not like how tall they are? Do you not like their ears? Why?
I don't like the ears.
Aha, do you know what? A lot of people...
I gotta admit, I do not like the long ears.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, and that's exactly why I asked. So there you go. All right, so we've got the Hyur, we've got the Elzen. Next, look at this. It is the little people. It is the Lalafell, and of course, you know what? Whenever I see a female Lalafell, I think of Catella. Whenever I see a male Lalafell, I think of Sao Mayo. And tell me, Catella, I mean, the description here says a wee people. A small people, this is what I always call them. Have you been playing on Catella yet?
Yeah, I was playing today.
Right, and what are your thoughts about how they've redesigned the Lalafells versus version 1.0?
It's pretty good. There was a few changes I made to Catella, but nothing dramatic.
Right, so in essence, you've still got our favourite little person ready to come and play with us in our Let's Play series?
Yep.
There we go, good to see it. And what about you, Sao Mayo? Any major changes that you had to make to your character?
I changed the hair color a little bit, and let's see, what else did I do? I changed his ears a little bit.
Right, okay, well, here we go. The Lalafell, a wee people sporting short, round bodies. The Lalafell appear as no more than children to the eyes of most. Many of these nimble little folk hail from the islands of the South Seas, as she has a bit of a stretch in the background there. We're so sorry to keep you up, where they practice a simple agricultural lifestyle. It was not until the opening of maritime trade routes that the gradual migration of Lalafells to Eorzea began. Now, one of the most well-established races in the realm, Lalafells can be found in great numbers in nearly every city. Though Lalafellan culture places great influence on blood relations, individuals are known for getting along amicably with members of all races, and of course we know that. One of the most friendly folk in the realm, our good old little people, the Lalafell. Moving right on, of course we've got the Miqo'te. We know about the female Miqo'te, and of course Seraphis Strawwyn is just that as she waggles her tail, but the male ones are new. Ancestors of the Miqo'te made their way to Eorzea during the Age of Endless Frost, traversing the frozen seas in pursuit of the wildlife upon which they subsisted. Adaptation to a hunting lifestyle has fashioned them with a keen sense of smell, powerful legs, and a tail, which provides them with exceptional balance and hours of entertainment for us as a player. Miqo'te are known to be very territorial, and many individuals tend to lead solitary lifestyles, particularly the males. Now, Merrick, what is your main? I mean, I remember you had an Elzen back in the day. I presume that he's still around.
He is still around. He is still my main, and I have not changed him.
Okay, so any interest in a male Miqo'te character?
Yeah, I'm actually playing a male Miqo'te in beta right now.
Oh, there you go. So clearly you're enjoying that. Can't wait to get in and have a look at the options. Finally, of course, we've got ourselves a Rogadin here. Now, Jenna Blossom, if I think of burly males in their underwear, I quite honestly think of Butcher all of the time. But if I remember right, what race was Butcher? Were they a Rogadin or were they simply a more human character? Which one were they?
They're the Highlander.
They were a Highlander. Okay, so we'll be able to get to see that in just one moment. In the meantime, of course, we've got a Blind Rage looking character here, the Rogadin. Known for their brawny builds and piercing eyes, the Rogadin are the largest and most rugged of Eorzea's races. The majority of the realm's Rogadin belong to the Seawolf clan, which is a maritime people who earn their keep on or by the sea, be it as sailors, fishermen, or pirates. And of course, pirates reminds me of Mini Ninja. Can't wait to see how Mini Ninja there, the little person, looks either. Mini, we love you. Can't wait to see you in the show. Comparatively fewer in number are the Hellsguard, who are known for their more earnest demeanors and can often be found working as bodyguards and smithies or killing goats. There we go. All right, so that is the Rogadin. So I guess, Katella, now that we're able to choose our core race and gender, once I've decided on one, am I going to be able to actually go in and choose their hairstyle, their skin color, their facial features, all that sort of stuff?
That's right.
Okay, so I need to figure out which one we're going to go with. So if I wanted to check out, for example, the Highlander variations that we were talking about earlier, Katella, how on earth would I do that? I mean, I click on here. Let's say I want to be a female, because in question are the various clans of the female Hures. So I've selected a Hure. What do I do now?
Just click the confirm button down at the bottom, the check mark.
Okay, so, look at this. I can see select your character's clan. So Midlander and, wow, Katella, there's a big difference, isn't there, between the Highlander and the Midlander? Is that just a visual difference, or is there stats there that change? What's going on?
Well, over to the left-hand side there, do you see where it says starting attributes?
Oh, I do. Okay, so look, we've also got a couple of different descriptions here. And in fact, it says a Midlander clan comprises over half the total population of Eorzea's Hures, and they've established themselves throughout every city in the realm and lead lives as diverse as their heritage. Trained in letters from infancy, the Midlanders are generally more educated than many of the other races and clans. Despite the fact that males tend to be slightly taller than females, there are no significant differences between the genders. Good lord, they go into all sorts of detail. Let's quickly have a look at the Highlander explanation here. And they say that they were one of the first Hure to reach Eorzea. Their name derives from their long tradition of building strongholds in the mountains. Compared with their Midland brethren, the Highlanders are noticeably larger in build. In fact, we can see that right here. Of late, Highlanders have become an increasingly rare sight in Eorzea, their numbers represented almost exclusively by those who fled Alamigo after its fall and now work in the desert city-state of Ul'dah as mercenaries and sellswords. So, Katella, this is not just a visual change, is it? The stats here, I mean, we're talking about strength, dexterity, vitality, intellect, mind, and piety. They are actually going to literally be affected by the choice we make right here and right now. Is that right?
That's right, but they're real. One thing to remember, they're real minimal. It's nothing that can't be adjusted by armor and other things, so don't let it make you feel like you have to be tied into a certain race or class or clan just because of that.
Right, there you go. All right, so that's good. Okay, so if I back out of here now to the race and gender screen, if I go into the Elizin and choose male, for example, if I was to hit confirm, would that take me straight into the actual character customization screen there, because there's no clans for an Elizin, right?
There's 2 clans. There's 2 clans for each one.
Oh, okay, so if we confirm, it says here clan, if I click on it, so Wildwood and Duskwhite. Oh, again, the stats are changing again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's back out of here and go to race and gender, go to Lalafell, confirm that one, and click on the clan, and we've got Plains Folk or the Dunes Folk. Katella, which one did you choose?
Plains Folk.
You are a plains folk. Oh yes, look at that. A clever and opportunistic people. That's definitely you, Katella, no doubt about that. All right, let's go back to our main screen here, the Miqo'te. Go in there and have a look at the clan. We've got the Seekers of the Sun, or the Keepers of the Moon, and of course, you guys might remember back in the character creation for Seraphis Thrall when we had to go through this as well, but now they are actually looking a lot different, and oh my lord, look at the hair on the Keepers of the Moon there. And EP, I have noticed that these male Miqo'te cats, if you like, they've got big floppy ears as well. Do I take it that you're not a fan of them, EP?
No, I like those.
Oh, they're okay. Yeah, they look a lot different.
I don't mind those.
Yeah, they've got sort of black at the top of them. Let's zoom in there. There we go. Very well done. Gosh, the detail level here is amazing. Let's get out of there and finally go into the Rogadin there. And if we select OK, oh look, he's got different hair now. We go to the clan. We've got the Sea Wolves, which is what we've been looking at, but the Hellsguard there does look, gosh, that looks nothing like Blind Rage. And they've got normal coloured skin and everything. Gosh, this is amazing. All right, so let me think. Merrick, if I was actually wanting to go in now and let's pretend I wanted to recreate my character Seraphis and have a look at all the options, would I go into the female Miqo'te, hit OK, choose my clan? I'm going to choose the Keepers of the Moon, let's say. What do I do? How do I now go in and change my hairstyle and skin colour and all that sort of stuff?
Well, you can go over to the left and do it, or you can just follow. You can just follow the prompts, and the prompts will go through, going from the top down.
Okay, here we go. All right, so I've got, oh good lord, so we've got height, we've got bust size, we've got skin color, we've got tail shape, tail length. Just in case you guys can't read this, we've got hairstyle, hair color, face, jaw, eye shape, iris size. Good lord, we've got eye color, we've got eyebrows, we've got nose, we've got mouth, lips color, ear clasp color, facial features, face paint color, and voice. Good lord, Katella, are there enough options here? How long did you spend in the character creator if you create a new character here in the Realm Reborn?
More than you would think I would, seeing as I didn't change very much.
Yeah, this is incredible. Isn't it amazing? Rusty, I mean, we've talked about the lack of options in the system configuration screen. Tell me, what are your thoughts about the character creator here in A Realm Reborn?
Oh, I have no problems with the character creator at all, for sure.
I mean, there's so many options in here. Good lord. How long did you spend making your first character in A Realm Reborn?
That's what I did for most of the betas,
You spent all your time in here. Jenna Blossom, I know that you're very creative. I will use that term loosely when it comes to making characters. Is this one of your favourite parts of the game so far?
I love it!
I love it! I love it! Tell me, you've probably already got Butcher. Have you tweaked Butcher at all yet, or are you saving that for a rainy day?
Well, actually, he looks like a pimp.
He looks like a pimp. I'm going to say this with bated breath, but I actually can't wait to see him in the show. I know I'm going to regret that statement later on. Sayo Mayo, what about your good self? Are you happy with the amount of options that seem to be present here in the new character creator in A Realm Reborn?
Yes and no, actually.
Okay, so what's the no? Let's start with that. What are you not so happy with?
Okay, I like all the options, but like a lot of all the different options just have a lot of like radio buttons. There's not a lot of sliders.
Oh, okay.
There are some, but there's not like all that many.
Right, so I mean, look, as you guys are talking, we're going through some of these options here. And for example, eye shape is one. If I zoom right in fact, I'm going to make her stand so that she stops moving. There we go, folks. So look at that. I mean, absolutely incredible detail on the eyes there. It looks absolutely amazing. But you're right, there's no sliders, but we can go through and change very subtly the shape of that eye, but we don't have complete customization over it. So I guess that's what you're talking about, right, Sayo?
Yeah, like one of the things that I wanted to do with Sayo's ears, I wanted to pitch them a little bit differently, but I couldn't do that.
Right, okay. And you can see though, there are lots of color options. You know, we've got hair color here. I guess I could make her, oh look at that. Her hair is now bright pink. That is extremely disturbing.
But I mean, let me briefly interrupt you. That doesn't really take away from, like, I think it's mostly amazing. Yeah. I love the way that the art style is. And,
oh, look, this is amazing. You know. In fact, there is Seraphis' old hairstyle right there, and it looks amazing. In fact, you can even see the markings in her ear. You can see the individual hairs on the ear. That is absolutely incredible. I love this. The detail level, even though obviously Katella, they have scaled certain things back to make this game run, you know, on lesser hardware like we've talked about in the past, they certainly have done so in a way that hasn't skimped on the detail in terms of their facial features, right?
Yeah, no, they've definitely got a lot of details still.
Yep. And of course, let's face it, a lot of the time you're never going to be seeing this because you're playing from behind your character or you're zoomed out but I mean, when it comes to things like cutscenes, then, it's really nice to have been able to put in the effort and just tailor your character to exactly how you like it and have this amount of detail in here. This is amazing. So look, folks, I'm not going to go through every single option here, but you can see there are plenty of them. One thing I will go through though is the voice. So Merrick, I've noticed here when I select voice, I've got some icons up the top of the screen and then I've got some type radio selections down the bottom. What is all this about?
Those the different icons are different emotes, basically, like laughing, and there's a anger type one, there's a no type one. So if you click on each one of those, you can hear what the voice that you selected, what it actually sounds like when it goes through a lot of the popular stuff.
Okay. Oh, she says. Let's have a look at this one. There we go. So we are going through some emotes. A bit of a laugh there. A nod. And a no. Okay, so that is type 4. Let's go to type 10. Oh, very deep. Oh, I love the way the tail goes up in the air when she's mad. That is awesome. Did that used to happen in version 1, Cat? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that is funny. Look at that, folks. That is great. And these voices are very different. Type 1. Type 5. And of course, we're just on the female selection at the moment, no doubt, of course, for all of the different races. You've got the male version, and they're going to be completely different voice actors for each of your races. So there we are. Look, I won't go through all of them, but there are options beyond options beyond options for your hairstyle, your hair, your face, your jaw, your eyes, your mouth, your lip color, and even these ear clasps here. You can see you can even turn them on or off per ear. So the detail level is absolutely incredible. And of course, we've also got look at this, the most important slider of all, I'd say, for a number of people, the tail length. And there we go, we can make it teeny, or we can stretch it right out and make it a lot longer. So there you go. And of course, the bust size. Now, of course, this is always a little bit controversial when it comes to games. Some people say, hey, make it realistic. Other people want, they want a couple of oversized watermelons jiggling around in the front there. Of course, at the end of the day, what we're concerned about is there a choice? So there we go. If we slide it all the way down to the bottom for a relatively modest chest, and of course, let's see what happens if we slide it all the way up and it is not ridiculous. So very, very happy about that one. So on a scale of 0 to 100, I think I'm probably going to be around about 50. There we are. Okay, so Catella, we've gone through the races, we've gone through the new races and genders that are available per race. We've now gone through this here. I noticed there's a button up the top called randomize appearance. I'm clicking on that and oh, that's great. So Catella, if you really wanted to, you could like flick through randomize, and once you find something that's mildly appealing, you could then go in and tweak those, or are they locked in?
No, you can, once you get one, you can go back through anything on the left-hand side there and just change it. Real quick, though, go ahead and click on hairstyle. Or not hairstyle, hair color.
Hair color, there we go, yes.
Do you see that highlight box on the right-hand side?
Oh, yes, I do. Now, what's that
all
about? Go
ahead and check that.
Okay, there we go. Check. Oh, wait a minute. So can we... Oh, my lord. Look at this. So I'm going to zoom right in here, folks. So I'm going to choose deliberately a dark color and a light color. Wow. So Catella, you can actually have highlights in there. Hang on, was that in version 1.0? I definitely don't seem to remember it.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. Wow. Look at... Oh.
Not to this extent, though. We never had this many possibilities.
That is incredible. Look at that green and red. We've got orange fire there. Previous and current is... Oh, wow. Well, thank you very much. Okay, there we go. Very pink and... There we go. Pink and even pink and blue. Okay, hours and hours are going to be spent in here when I design a character for realsies, and I'm sure you guys watching along from home are going to be exactly the same. All right, so now we've done the appearance, we've done the hair, we've done the race, we've done the class, gender rather. What is next? Is it a class thing? If I hit confirm, what happens?
Yeah, go ahead and hit confirm.
Here we go. And why is it saying face? Oh, yeah, I've already chosen a face. There we go. Confirm. Oh, hang on. I have to round the wrong one.
It goes through the...
Yeah, left-hand side.
Yeah, okay. So let's go over to the left-hand side. Confirm. Save appearance data. What is this all about?
So you can actually, if you find one that you really like, you can save a copy of this appearance data. So if you wanted to go back and make another character, like on another server, and use that same look, you could. Just by loading up this appearance data instead of having to go through everything all over again.
That is great. All right, now in this instance I won't, because we've just been mucking about randomly, but that is great to know. So make sure, folks, if you spend hours and hours and hours and you want to replicate that in another character, that you do save your appearance data. So let's say no. Okay, so the Eorzean calendar. The Eorzean year consists of the moon Menfina revolving around Hydaelyn's 2 astral and umbral poles while fluctuating between each of the 6 elements. Square Enix, you never make anything simple, do you? In this, the year can be said to be the length of 12 moons. So I guess, let me see, Merrick, that's a convoluted way of emulating the 12 months of a year.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Specify your character's day of birth. Let's choose some random numbers here. 8th of the... 8th of the first astral moon, first umbral. So these are the 12 here. Let's just choose the 3rd astral moon. There we go. All right, now, Katella, does this have any bearing in game?
No.
Okay, there we are. We'll hit OK. And now we've got this. We've got, I think, some patron deities, which I'm assuming are the gods that we worship. And I notice here, I won't go through them all. We've got Thaliak, we've got Namir, we've got Lilmilian, we've got Oshon, etc., etc. But Katella, what are these elemental attributes that I can see changing along the bottom of the description there?
Well, each one of them has an elemental sign, I guess.
Right.
I don't know, like...
It just minorly changes the resistances.
Yeah.
Like, I think Thaliak has a slight affinity to ice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, I mean, yeah, if I look at this, it's got a orange symbol with 50 next to it. I'm assuming that that's fire. The next one there is a snowflake, so I'm going to assume that's frost or whatever, ice. We've got plants, electricity, water, etc., etc.
It's going to be wind.
Wind, okay. All that stuff. So they're elemental attributes of our character, and they're going to tie into the spells that we're casting and resistances?
Resistance only.
Only the resistance, okay. Because we get asked that question a whole bunch. Does it affect, like if I wanted to be, a offensive DPS fire mage or something, would I need...
No.
Yeah, okay, so it's something completely different. All right, I'm just going to randomly choose a purple one because I like purple. There we go. And we're going to click on OK. And now, this is the next big part, of course, of your choice if you are playing Final Fantasy XIV. It is not only what character would you like to create in terms of her looks and her past, but what class are you going to choose? And we arrive here at the class selection screen. So, of all the things we've done so far, we've done the look, we've done the gender, we've changed our hair, etc., etc. Now is one of the most important parts of the game, choosing our class, and that's what we're going to go through right now. So let's take a look at this from top to bottom. We've got a screen here, and it's saying that I am a gladiator, and it's highlighted on Disciples of War. So Katella, I know we're asking you 1,000 questions, and you've got the patience of a saint, but for someone silly like me, what am I staring at here? How does this screen work? Because it's very confusing.
So basically you just go down the list here. You're right now in Disciples of War. That's what you have open.
Yes.
So this is going to be your tanks and your non-magic DPS.
Non-magic. Okay, so I'm actually going to spin my character around here because I noticed something changing on her back there. As I go down Gladiator, Pugilist, Marauder, Lancer, Archer, etc., the weapons change. And of course, is that the same as, look, Sao Mayo, back in version 1, you could change your class by changing your weapon. Is that the same mechanic that's carried over into A Realm Reborn?
Yeah, the armory system is back in full force, and it's actually gone some UI updates that make life heaven.
Okay, all right. So, Merrick, as Katella said, I'm staring at Disciples of War here. If I wanted to have a look at my disciple of something else, like magic, how would I do that? Do I just click on Disciples of Magic? Is that going to open up that branch? Okay.
Just click on that. It'll close the War one and open up the Magic one.
Okay, and there we go. If we spin her around, you can see we've got the Arcanist, and that sounds like something new. We'll talk about that in a minute. We've got the Thaumaturge, and we've got the Conjurer. I'm guessing now, Clax, we've been staring at this entire screen. We've got my small clothes. There they are. we've got my race. I can see that the job is available now. Klax, if I click that, what's going to happen?
It's going to show you the AF here.
Oh, the AF gear for my class. Okay, all right, hang on a minute. 10 internet points for you, Klax. We're going to put you right on the spot. What does AF stand for?
Artifact gear.
Yeah, okay, you get your 10 internet points. All right, here we go. So if I click on job, there we are. And you can see I've got the Conjurer. Look at that. It looks like that's your clothes, Catella. That's amazing. Yeah. That looks so, wow, the detail is definitely still there, isn't it? The shadows, the lighting there, absolutely incredible. Let's have a look at the Thaumaturge. Oh, and of course, if I was a little person, Sayo Mayo, that would look very familiar to you.
Yes, it does.
That is, you. Look, are you happy with the way they've designed the iconic clothing system in this game? Do you think it's really holding up to scrutiny now that you've been playing it for a while, or are there some shortcuts there that you're not happy about?
Well, I'm very happy with the design just because they modernized some and they've just like taken a few liberties with other things.
Right.
And it's just like they've gotten to the point now where it's just not that set anymore. They've also gotten a complete other set of AF apparently that is new to ARR as well.
Well, look here, we're cycling through what is available to me here in terms of Disciples of War and Disciples of Magic. Got the Marauder there, looking very, very familiar, looking fantastic though. The Lancer, look at the Lancer AF gear. Looks like something that H.R. Geiger would have designed, if you ask me. There's definitely some alien influence there. The Archer, of course, reminding us all of Pico Man. That's exactly what he used to look like back in the day, and look at that bow on her back. This is incredible, but of most importance, yes, down in the Disciples of Magic, there is a new class. Who is going to tell us about this and what it is? The Arcanist. What on earth am I looking at?
Okay, so the Arcanist is the long-awaited base class for the Summoner job.
And in terms of other games and the stereotypical class systems that we have, how would this relate to something else? Like, is it a DPS mage? Is it a warlock? Is it a melee tank? What are we looking at here?
So the Arcanist is a very, very special breed here because it is the first class in Final Fantasy XIV to actually have a second job that it can turn into.
Wow, okay, you're going to have to explain yourself there. In fact, maybe we'll ask Catella, what is a second job?
Well, a second job. So when you get to level 30, do you remember we went and took you and we did that one that one episode where we had a little trouble, but we got through and we got you your warrior job.
I've chosen to block that from my memory, but yes.
Yeah, I imagine. And so before in 1.0, each class had only one job that they could turn into. With the coming of Arcanist, you can actually either choose a Summoner, which is a DPS, or you can choose a Scholar, which isn't shown here, which is another healing class.
It's a hot class, heals over time.
Will they bring other classes into the game in the future, do you think, and will they follow suit in terms of being able to have these two jobs?
Oh yeah, they've said for sure that that's their plan.
Wow, there you go, folks. Well, an Arcanist, for those of you who want to know, adepts of the art of Arcanum derive their might from symbols of power born of geometric techniques hailing from across the southern seas. Held within occult grimoires, these symbols lend shape to the Arcanist's ether, thereby allowing him or her to produce a myriad of powerful spells. Using the self-same symbols to unlock the latent power contained within gemstones, Arcanists are also able to summon forth the familiar known as Carbuncle to carry out their bidding. So hang on a minute. Merrick, is this a pet class?
Yes, it is a pet class.
Whoa, do you have an Arcanist?
I do have an Arcanist, and I do have my Carbuncle for my Arcanist.
There you go. And a score out of 10, are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's actually quite fun.
All right, there you go. All right, can't wait to see that as well. In fact, if I create a new character, I'd imagine this is right up my alley, especially Catella. If you said there were heals involved, we all know how great a healer I am, right?
Of course.
Of course, she said with her fingers crossed. So there we go. All right, so I am looking...
Yeah, I've got to say about the heals, too. They're a bit staggeringly overpowered in the version of the game that we're playing now.
Okay, I've got no problem with that. Just got to say, no problem whatsoever. Amadeus, you'd agree with that?
Yeah, I'm actually playing Arcanist now,
okay,
to be fair.
There you go. Now, one thing I've noticed, though, down the bottom here, we've got a starting city screen, and it currently says, if I go to Gladiator, it says Ul'dah. How do I change where I want to start? Because, of course, back in Final Fantasy XIV 14 version 1, I could have one of 3 starting areas, which would of course dictate my starting storyline. How? I can't see where I can choose on here. This is interesting. Katella, help me.
Because you can't.
What do you mean I can't? What, so if I'm a gladiator, I have to go to Ul'dah?
In 1.0, you could go wherever, but there were a lot of people who played and like never actually really knew where their guild was. Like it might be in a total another city that they had never even seen or didn't even know how to get to, and so it made it confusing for new players.
Right.
So this time around, they decided to make it a lot easier on new players, and once you pick your class, you start in the city that has the guild for that class.
Okay, so as we've been going down the list here, a gladiator is Ul'dah, a pugilist is Ul'dah, we've got the marauder in Limsa Leminza, and we've got the lancer in Gridania, the archer in Gridania, we've got the conjurer in Gridania, we've got the thaumaturge in Ul'dah, and the arcanist is over in Limsa Leminza. There we go. Alright, so let's see. If I've now decided I want to create an arcanist, I'm going to click on that. I've got my Miqo'te here. I've set up everything I want. I've looked at her in all of her different environments now, in midday and in evening. I can even on this screen go and adjust the graphics settings if I want right from here. Thank you very much, Square Enix. Katella, is that it? Am I done? If I'm happy with everything that I've chosen so far, I've got a confirm button here. What would happen if I clicked on that?
Then there would be one more.
Oh, okay, here we go. And so it's my world selection. So this is where, if you're wanting to join us, this is what I wanted to discuss to finish off this episode here. Episode 0 of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, now Sambo NZ Let's Play series. Why is this an important screen, Katella, and are there any things that I need to be aware of?
This is where you pick your server. So you see there's 2 buttons on the right hand side there. There's Group JP and Group NAEU.
Yes.
That's again that data center.
Okay, so obviously our preferred server is where?
Our data center is Japan.
Okay, so we want to go into Japan. If people want to join us and play along with us and be part of our community, we're suggesting that they go to the JP area. Now, what about the actual server itself? Because I've noticed here in this list, I've got, well, there's a whole bunch of them up the top that are white, and then there's a whole bunch down the bottom that look like they're grayed out. And wait a minute. This world is not accepting any more new characters. You may either wait for the restriction to be lifted, or you may select another world. Now, sadly, Katella, if I go down to Masamune, which I know is our home, what's going on there? Why is it saying that we can't roll a character there?
Well, it's kind of been going on and off all day long. What it is for beta, because we're filming this beta 4, right?
Right.
And they have actually limited how many players can be on, how many players can be connected at a time on a server. And so they periodically during beta will turn it off for a little bit, and then they'll kind of watch it, and then they'll open it back up, and then they'll turn it off, and they've done it for all the servers. So it's kind of just how they've dealt with it across the board. There's been North American servers, same exact problem.
Right.
So it's just how they're dealing with.
So is it safe to say that if you were to come here as a player and want to roll with us on Masamune, and it's looking like this right now, it's all grayed out, it's not the end of the world. Like, you could wait and hopefully it may come back at some point.
Yeah, you could even like what people were doing today is they would just like make another character on another world until Masamune opened up. They actually had Twitter feeds going all day, and you could kind of watch, and they would say, okay, these are closed now, all right, now this one's open.
Now, if people are going to be eternally struggling here though, like let's say Masamune gets full, and I know that we had that issue back in version 1.0, what is do we have an alternative plan? Like, do we have any communities that we're linked up with on any other servers where folk can go and still be a part of our community, but just not on Masamune?
Yeah, so Divine Phoenix, know you remember them.
Yes.
They actually have a community over on the Moogle server.
Okay, and is that a JP server or a NAEU server?
I believe that that's NA.
NAEU.
Yep, let's have a look here, and we're looking for Moogle. Great name, and by the way, big shout out and hello to every single person involved in the Divine Phoenix community. We're big fans, and we can't wait to meet up with you in game. We certainly hope to see you guesting on our show in the very near future. I'm very excited for that. And there it is, Moogle. It is actually an EU server according to this, unless there's a Moogle NA one as well. I'm not sure. Let me have a look here. Looks like no. So okay,
No, it's just the one.
EA and NAEU are all the same data center.
Right, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so Moogle is where you need to go, folks. If you roll over there, if you really can't get onto Masamune, go over to Moogle and you'll be looked after by the kind folk at Divine Phoenix. And if you like, you can consider them an arm of our community, an official arm of our community. And it's a pleasure to be partnering up with them throughout A Realm Reborn. All right, so that is it. We have had an incredible journey today. We've gone from reminiscing about the good old days of version 1.0, crying at the end of our Let's Play series in episode 73, losing touch, if you like, in terms of our Let's Play series with all of the wonderful personalities that you came to know and love throughout that series, only today to be reunited with a little smattering of them so far, and of course no doubt we'll get to meet them all in the upcoming episodes. This was episode 0 of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn Let's Play series in our Sambo NZ community. You've been listening to me, Sambo. You've also been listening to our wonderful friends here. We've got Merrick, thank you very much. We've got Rusty in the background there. We had Tigerhawk Rosebud. We've got Zenwing. We've got Sayo Mayo. We've got Jenna Blossom. We've got Clax, Amadeus Lightheart. All of those familiar names, and of course you're going to see them and more in the upcoming weeks as our series gets into full swing. And of course, importantly, we would like to see you as well. Katella, if anybody is interested in joining us in our Eorzean journey, how on earth do they make the first steps? Where do they go?
They should go to our website and get signed up there.
There you go. And of course, a link to our website is always in the description of every single one of our Final Fantasy XIV Let's Play videos. Once you've applied there and are accepted into our community, then you'll be able to receive instructions as to how to follow us up in game as well. It's all laid out there. All right, so I think we are ready now. Katella, is there anything else I would need to know before I go in and log in on my good old Seraphis Thrallwyn character? Any pitfalls that we haven't covered off in this episode?
No, because we already covered that 1.0 characters have one option to go ahead and make those changes.
And in fact, look, let me just do that once again. If I click on the quit button here, is that going to take me back out to the main menu?
Yeah, it should.
Yep, okay, let's do that. Quit character creation and lose all your progress. In this case, yes please. There we go, Masamune, and once again, this is my character here, Seraphis Thrallwyn. If I was to log into her right now, I would be using up my one opportunity to edit my race, tribe, gender, appearance, and name, and I don't want to do that just yet. Not till we're filming the show for proper. So again, folks, if you have legacy characters, make sure you use that one shot to the best of your advantage, and don't accidentally log in and skip past it all and realize that you've lost the opportunity to make that one free change. But there you go, folks. That was it. The character creation of our new Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn client, which I'm sure you'll agree looks absolutely stunning. Make sure you tune in next week for episode 1 of our Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn Let's Play series, which will kick off with a vengeance, and we'd certainly hope to see most of our community there. And I can't wait to say hello to a lot of familiar faces that you guys have grown to love, like Mini Ninja. Of course, we missed her today. No doubt, Katella, she's probably at work, is she?
She is working,
She's working hard for your money, but we can't wait to see you playing hard for the lols as well. We really miss you, Minnie. We can't wait to see you interacting with your best buddy here, Jenna Blossom. I hope you're going to behave yourself in our Let's Play series, Jenna. No more butcher surprises, right? Right.
I can't guarantee that.
You can't guarantee that. Of course you can't. Well, I'm looking forward to it just as much as you guys are. I'd also like to take this time to thank you, all of our fans and viewers and community members who, of course, without we would never have a show in the first place. Katella, I know also that you deserve a great big thank you, along with Merrick and Pico, because you guys have been very, very busy in terms of accepting guild invites. You able to give us a very quick idea, how big are our in-game presences right now?
Oh, well, an hour ago when I was logged in, I think we had like 159.
159 already? Hang on, this is day 1, hours into day 1 of the beta, not only the live client. Are things going to get just a little bit busy?
I think they might.
I think they might. Folks, if you'd like to come along and join a thriving, active, and wonderful community, as you will have seen in our past Let's Play series, look no further than the wonderful folk of A Distant World. And once again, go along to the website if you haven't already, and make sure you apply for membership down there. It's that easy. In the meantime, that is it. On behalf of myself, Sambo, Seraphis Thrallwyn, who we may tweak a little bit going into the first episode. Tigerhawk Rosebud, I think you had some thoughts about that.
You want to give her pink hair.
Oh
Like
my lord.
pink hair.
Oh, will somebody put that woman in a room and shut the door, please? No more pink hair. What do you guys reckon? Let us know in the comments below. Do we want pink hair? We'll have to wait and see. We will see.
By the way, we have 178 members now.
178 members in our community in-game already, and the game hasn't launched. You know what you need to do, folks. Make sure you come along and join us. In the meantime, that is it from us. On behalf of myself, Sambo, Seraphis, Thrallwyn here, and of course every single one of our Distant World members that took the time out of their busy day today to help us in this episode 0 of our new Final Fantasy XIV, a Realm Reborn Let's Play series. It's us saying take care. Hope you guys are having a great week wherever you are in the world. We do look forward to seeing you next time. We will see you then, and bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Guys.
Bye.
See ya.